All right, everybody. So the Browns came into this offseason with Deshaun Watson and DTR on their roster as their quarterbacks 1 and 2. And then obviously the offseason shakes out so far. Joe Flacco doesn't come back, but they replaced Joe Flacco with Jameis Winston. And we thought, okay, this is how the QB room is going to look. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's going to be Jameis Winston as the backup. And it's going to be a young DTR who's the third stringer ready to play whenever he's needed to be called upon. But no, the Browns are not done. Today, they go ahead and sign Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley, as crazy as that sounds. And it's a little confusing. It's definitely a confusing deal to sort out here. There are many scenarios that you could kind of swirl around your head here of what the Browns are actually trying to do as it pertains to their QB room, which now holds 4 quarterbacks, 3 of which you could really consider being a legit backup for your team. Look, man, if I'm being totally honest with you all, I have no idea what the Browns' goal is. I don't have one narrowed down prediction of what will be the outcome of their quarterback room, but I do think there are 4 scenarios in which we could see this play out, or really to, just gauge on what's going on in the Browns front office right now. There are 4 scenarios, 2 I think which are unlikely, 2 which I think are likely. Now, first, I'm just going to outline here the 2 most unlikely ones that, are scenarios that people would think of when you think of the Browns having 4 quarterbacks right now and signing Tyler Huntley. Then I'm going to give you guys the 2 most likely scenarios of why the Browns made this move. First, I think a reason the Browns made this move is Deshaun Watson is probably not progressing the way they want him to as it pertains to his shoulder progression coming back from his injury. I think that's unlikely, but there is a chance that could be the case. I just think with all the news that we've gotten on Deshaun Watson and, when he'll be back and how much progress he has made, I just think it is too unlikely for the case to be that Deshaun Watson just isn't at a place where the Browns want him right now. I think he is at a place where they want him right now based on all the mass reports we've been getting of just good news of Deshaun Watson making good progress, of being able to come back to this team in about April or May. So I don't think that's the case there. I think if that was the case, then the Browns are bringing in Tyler Huntley to have him as a backup to Jameis Winston if Deshaun Watson isn't able to start the season, or if you have concerns about him starting off the season. But I don't think that's the case. Another scenario people have thrown out there that may be a chance, it may have happened, but I don't think is the case, is maybe the Jameis Winston deal fell through. Like I said, I don't think that's the case. I think that's very unlikely just for a lot of reasons. But one scenario is, maybe the Jameis Winston deal fell through and they want Tyler Huntley to be the backup and DTR to be the third string. I just think that's a really messy situation if that were to happen. So I don't really think that's the case here. Now, 2 scenarios that people have thrown out there that I think are the most likely when it pertains to this Tyler Huntley being signed situation are these. 1, they want to do what they did last year, carry 4 quarterbacks going into the preseason, and then, like they did with Josh Dobbs last year, go ahead and trade him and recoup some picks. I think they could do that this year with Tyler Huntley. If they want to bring in Tyler Huntley, see what he does in training camp, then trade him for maybe a 4th or a 5th round pick, then the Browns are more than happy with that. Like I said, they did that last year. Going into the preseason last year, they had Deshaun Watson, DTR, Josh Dobbs, and PJ Walker on the roster. They ended up trading Josh Dobbs for a 5th round pick. So I think they could do a similar thing with Tyler Huntley. And then the other scenario is maybe they do that with DTR. Maybe because DTR is young and his contract is still expendable, I think maybe they go into training camp with DTR on the roster. But then as you go along in training camp, then, you trade DTR to a team that's in need of a backup quarterback for a 4th or a 5th round pick, and you recoup some picks there. So I think the most likely scenarios is that the Browns keep 3 out of these 4 quarterbacks that are in their quarterback room right now. And then the odd one out is the guy that they trade for either a 4th or a 5th round pick. All in all here, I think the Browns' main goal of having these 4 guys in here is to do 2 things. 1, they just want to go into the season with a good quarterback situation. They want to go into the season prepared as they can be. They want to have 3 quarterbacks that they could feel One as a starter, obviously with Deshaun Watson, and then two other backups where they could feel comfortable if they were to have to come in. I think the other goal of the Browns in this situation is not to only have a good quarterback room to be as prepared as possible in case something goes wrong, but I think their other goal is to just recoup as many picks as possible. Like I said before, if you trade either DTR or Tyler Huntley's a really good backup quarterback. DTR is a young guy that people would feel comfortable having as their backup quarterback. So you would be able to get either a fourth or a fifth round pick for them. I just think one of the Browns' goals here is to not only have a good backup quarterback room or quarterback room overall, but they want to recoup some picks here, just like they did last year with Josh Dobbs. And with having four of these guys on the same roster and in the same quarterback room, you give yourself an opportunity to continue to recoup more picks. They're just in a situation where we've seen the Browns before with fourth, fifth, and sixth round picks trade for some really good players. They traded for just a couple weeks ago, or not even a week ago, traded for Jeudy for a fifth and a sixth round pick. And then an offseason before that, or two offseasons before that, they got Amari Cooper by trading away, which I believe was a fifth and a sixth round pick. So obviously the Browns can make use of getting these fifth and sixth round or fourth round picks back because, we've seen them flip these picks for stars on, expiring contracts or contracts that teams don't want to carry before. So I think, like I said, the main goals of the Browns here is to not only have a good quarterback room going into the season, having at least a quarterback room where you have three guys that you feel solid about, but you're also doing this so, yeah, maybe you have four quarterbacks, but you're going to trade one of those guys so you can recoup some picks. And we've seen what the Browns have been able to do with fifth, sixth, and fourth round picks before. They've been able to flip those picks for some really good players. So obviously we see how special those picks can be to Andrew Berry and what he can do with those picks to flip them into some good players. So I think that's really key to note here. Now, like I said before, there is a possibility that out of all of this, DTR gets shipped off to somewhere else. And, because he's young, because he's a guy that still has some potential, people may be opposed to trading DTR. But something Quincy Carrier has mentioned a lot before is, where the Browns offense is going, they're heading in a direction where they're really getting away from the Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak type of offense, which DTR really does well in. They want to move to more stuff that Deshaun Watson works well with, also stuff that Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley thrive in too. So they're moving away from the type of stuff DTR likes to work in. So it will only make sense that you trade DTR in a situation like that, which is why I think it would be likely that DTR is the odd man out. At the same time, though, Tyler Huntley, like I said, is a top-level backup quarterback in the NFL. So during training camp, teams may be looking for backup quarterbacks. Tyler Huntley would be one of those guys, and you could get some good picks for him. Either way, though, no matter how this shakes out, I just think the Browns have a really good quarterback room right now, and I think that's really special, seeing what went down for the quarterback room last year, seeing how much turmoil and, turnover they went through. Like, no matter how this shakes out, no matter who gets traded, no matter who gets shipped off, I think the Browns, and you have to applaud them for this, they're determined to make sure that they are ready for whatever comes. And the way you do that is adding as much talent as possible. And I think they're doing that with their quarterback room right now. So I think you have to applaud them for that. But like I said, I think the Browns' two main goals here is to not only go into the season having a prepared quarterback room in case of emergency, but I think they also want to recoup picks, not just to have more picks there, but, we've seen what they can do with fifth, sixth, and fourth round picks before. So that's something you always keep in mind with Andrew Berry. So if you're able to get fourth, fifth, and sixth round picks out of a guy like Tyler Huntley or out of a guy like DTR, then you do that because we've seen what the Browns can do with those type of picks before. But you guys tell me what you think about the move to get Tyler Huntley down in the comment section below. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, a.k.a. the Ranker of Dogs by the Sword, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.